Although Taylor Sheridan has transformed the landscape of Western TV over recent years, the iconic CBS series Gunsmoke still reigns supreme as the greatest show in the genre's history. The show couldn't have reached the heights it did across 20 seasons without its lead actor, James Aress. However, Aress was initially reluctant to audition for the role of Matt Dillon. Gunsmoke's chief protagonist was a classic sharpshooting cowboy hero, but he was also a character meant specifically for Western TV actors. At the time the series was commissioned, Aress specialized in supporting roles on the big screen, and was worried that playing Dillon might end his movie career. He'd turn out to be right, but in the best way possible. Back in 1955, though, Aress seemed unlikely to get the part in Gunsmoke anyway, as a relatively unknown name with limited appeal to audiences used to watching westerns fronted by star attractions. That is, until a legend of the Western genre intervened to secure him the longest-running TV role in American history. James Aress wasn't sure about doing Gunsmoke until John Wayne encouraged him to. Wayne also recommended Aress to the developer of Gunsmoke. It was John Wayne who recommended James Aress for the role of Matt Dillon. Wayne suggested him to Gunsmoke's developer Charles Marquis Warren, the writer and producer adapting what was then a hit radio drama for the screen. By that stage, the Duke had already worked with Aress on 4 movies, and the pair had become good friends, but convincing Warren to cast Aress was only half the battle. Wayne also had to convince the actor himself that this particular TV role was for him. The Hollywood legend told Aress, who was 16 years his junior, "This is something you should really do." Via Deseret News, at the Duke's insistence, Aress went for the part, and got it. Aress' physical likeness to John Wayne was undoubtedly a factor in his casting. Although Wayne himself was never going to star in Gunsmoke, going with his recommendation for its lead role, who also happened to look like him, was the next best thing the show could do. Gunsmoke's radio cast star auditioned for Matt Dillon before James Aress was cast. William Conrad wanted to transfer his radio performance onto the screen. Before becoming the longest-running Western show on television, Gunsmoke started out as a radio program in 1952. In fact, its radio episodes continued until 1961, running concurrently with the TV series using a different cast. It was voice actor William Conrad who first played U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon in the radio version of Gunsmoke. Conrad fully intended to reprise his role in the screen version, too. Harry Bartell, a cast member of the radio show, had a CBS photographer shoot Conrad and the rest of the cast dressed as their characters, as part of an audition for the Gunsmoke TV show, via Jerry. However, ultimately, the network's executives didn't think these radio stars looked like the Western actors they needed. Gunsmoke's TV roles were opened up to stars of the screen, and indeed, they found their Matt Dillon in James Aress.